Come with us and celebrate 2 decades of racing in the fast lane with Toyota. Welcome, MR2 Club members, to Long Beach and the Toyota Grand Prix. My name is Jay Spencer, and believe me, we're very happy to have you here today.
With those words, Toyota's Jay Spencer kicked off the second annual MR2 Owners Club Long Beach Grand Prix field. The event started with a catered breakfast at the Long Beach Hilton, just steps away from the IndyCar race circuit. As usual, Jay had assembled a stellar cast of racing and performance experts to speak with the group. Appropriately enough, the most stellar of them All-American racers Dan Gurney, was up first. Dan brought the members up to date on Toyota's IndyCar program and promised to have a new Eagle on the track by the middle of the 1995 racing season. He was also nice enough to field questions from the audience.
It's been about 10 years since you built an Indy car, so when you got the Lolas, what changes did you see or what impressed you the most? And then in the new Eagle, I'll do it all at once. And the new Eagle, are you going to try and do a conventional car, or are you going to look for something really a dramatic change, sort of like an unfair advantage, if I can use an old Mark Donohue term?
The answer is no, and the second part, the answer is yes. That's true. We haven't been in it for a long time, and frankly, I don't feel we would have tried this new upcoming program if we hadn't been so successful with Toyota on the GTO car first and then the GTP car.
With respect to the new engine, I believe you said it's going to be a Toyota-developed V8, correct?
Correct.
Okay, since IndyCar rules require an engine provider provide to other teams, who else is going to get the engine?
We've already had applications from other teams, but I couldn't answer that right now because I really don't know.
And I'd just like to add a personal note. The first time I ever saw you drive was 1958 Riverside Grand Prix. And that turned me from a drag racer to a absolutely radical sports car guy, and I've been there ever since. So you had a lot to do with that.
Well, thank you very much. Great. Well, I think you deserve a free ticket to our first IndyCar race.
Before leaving, Dan autographed copies of an Eagle GTP racing poster, which were distributed to all members at the end of the meeting. Next up was Mike Michaels of Toyota Product Planning. Mike explained how Toyota goes about developing a new product and how they make their all-important decisions on color and trim from year to year.
What does product planning do? So I want to give you a little bit of a rundown about how in our group at Toyota Motor Sales USA, we kind of look into the future and the development process that goes on for a new car.
Tim Mochizuki provided a detailed MR2 production history, identifying the rarest MR2 models and the rarest colors to own. Paul Martin and Pilar Miranda are both employees of Toyota, and both are also successful MR2 racers. They prepared a basic MR2 handling guide, which was distributed to all the members, and made a brief presentation on steps owners can take to improve the handling of their MR2. As always, Yokohama Tire was represented. Clay Green and Chris Miller discussed MR2 performance tire applications.
All radial tires behave very similar, whether it's a high-performance tire or a passenger car tire, and the contact patch is a kidney bean-shaped patch when the car is cornering. That twists, and that defines what the slip angle is.
Another longtime friend of the club, Dane Pederesi, of Pederesi Motorsports in Portland, Oregon, was on hand, and he talked about how impressed he was with MR2 quality and reliability in racing applications.
Those cars still hold a great amount of enjoyment for us. In fact, we have a fleet of 4 Mark I MR2s in our stable now that we use for race rental cars.
Some of his fleet of MR2s have over 14,000 hard race miles on them with no mechanical failures. MR2 owners also discovered they could take advantage of another Toyota-sponsored performance driving opportunity, Fast Lane Driving School. As the school's owner, Gary Reed, explained, students will compete in Celicas used in the Pro Celebrity race at the Toyota Long Beach Grand Prix. Once all the presentations had been made, Jay threw the floor open for a question and answer session.
Is 94 the last year?
Well, have you seen in the past with the Auto Week announced the death of the MR2 2 years ago? Motor Trend did it almost a year ago, and we keep bringing it out. So all I can say is, you know, the stories of its death are greatly exaggerated.
As with every field event, Jay Spencer closed the meeting by giving away everything not bolted down. The big winner was Jeff Radin, who won a set of tires courtesy of Clay Green from Yokohama Tires. The members spent the rest of the weekend at the race, where they were Jay Spencer's special guest at the Toyota Hospitality Center.
But we have done it.
53 gleaming, shining MR2s rolled through the gates of famed Pocono International Raceway one cold and windy spring morning to kick off the MR2 Owners Club Eastern Field Meet. This was the largest turnout ever for a field meet, and members spent the first hour or so shuttling between the free breakfast and the parking lot, where they put the finishing touches on their cars for the show and shine competition. Jay kicked off the meeting with a few brief remarks and promised the day's emphasis would be on track time, track time, track time. One guest the crowd was eager to hear from was two-time GTP driver champion Juan Manuel Fangio II. Juan told the members about a recent 12-hour race in Australia in which he competed and won driving an MR2. He also gave the group his impressions of developing Toyota's upcoming Indy car. Toyota's Sandy Lowenstein talked about how Toyota develops new products and provided a brief history of the MR2. Clay Green of Yokohama Tires made the trip east and talked to the group about performance tire aspect ratios and other handling topics. Also on hand to talk performance was Toyota Racing Development's Ricardo Rodriguez. Last up was Dane Pederesi of Pederesi Motorsports, who outlined the track activities for the day and provided a number of helpful driving tips. The group then adjourned to the parking lot to vote on their favorite cars in the show and shine. And to have their pictures taken with the ever-cooperative Juan Manuel Fangio. Then it was off to the track. Dane Pederesi and the instructors from his driving school had laid out two demanding autocross courses on the racetrack. Course A featured a demanding hairpin turn, while Course B included a high-speed straightaway. The cars were divided into two groups, and each group got two timed runs on each course. Partway through the event, Jay Spencer called a temporary halt to the runs. Juan Manuel Fangio, Dane Pederesi, and the instructors from the Pederesi Driving School put on a series of three-lap mock races, with several MR2 Club members winning a chance to ride shotgun.
Every day.
Those who rode with Juan came back saying it was an experience they will never forget.
It was a mind-bending experience. I loved it.
Woo! Well, what was funny is we went through the first lap, and I just made one short comment the second lap, and he started talking to me. I said, well, I didn't figure you want to talk. I thought you were contrary. He said, no, this is fun. Just talk all you want to. So we talked all the way through the third lap, and he was screaming through the whole thing. That was good. That was really good.
It was an experience. You go into a turn at 80 miles an hour.
Were you frightened of it?
No, I was
holding.
I was white-knuckling it, yes. But it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it, and it was a great day.
It was a great ride, and he's a very, very good driver. Never in my wildest dreams would I ever believe I would ever get in the same car with a driver the caliber of Juan Fangio. Unbelievable.
While all this was going on, Jay Spencer was pulling some strings and got permission for the group to take a few laps on Pocono's famed oval. Led by Dane Pederesi, each group got to do 3 laps, and it was a perspective you just don't get from the grandstands. The only thing left was to present the prizes. While there were winners in several different categories, the overall winner in the show and shine competition was the second generation MR2 of Gus Korumvokas. Fastest man on the autocross course was Matt Murray, who won a new set of Yokohama tires, once again presented by Clay Green. Was the event a success? The members who were there think so.
Oh, it was just an all-around incredible day, getting out on the track, learning how the cars handle, and it's really unique to see this many MR2s in one place.
It was out of this world, so we had a super day. The weather was great, it cooperated, and we hope to do this more often.
The time we got here last night till now, Jay Spencer, Juan Fangio, Ricardo, and all the other guys that were responsible for putting this together, it was just a total professional class act. Toyota has a lot to be proud of with their people and with these cars. They're absolutely fantastic cars. I've never driven anything that I had more fun in, and I just hope the club and the manufacturing of the car can continue.
As Juan Manuel Fangio mentioned at the Pocono Field event, he recently competed in a 12-hour special race in Bathurst, Australia. Like the year before, Juan and his co-drivers took their MR2 to a first-in-class victory.
Toyota's MR2 is the undisputed sports car king of Mount Panorama. The tiny 2-litre mid-engined MR2 went to Bathurst this year with a hat-trick of class wins under its belt and a finishing record second to none. In 1993, Argentinian driver Juan Manuel Fangio was the star of the MR2 show, pairing with Canberra's Rick Bates and Sydney racer Peter McKay to take not only their class, but also 6th outright. In 1994, it was the MR2 itself that was to be the star of the James Hardy 12-hour. A new MR2 model made its motor racing debut at the mountain, the MR2 Bathurst, a model born of the success MR2 has had at the mountain. Fangio was back as part of the driver lineup, partnering twin brothers Neil and Rick Bates, sponsored by Vogue magazine. Fangio came to Australia from the USA, where he's engaged in an intensive test program to look at possible Toyota entry in IndyCar racing. The team was brimming with talent. Along with Fangio, Neil Bates was hot from his win in the Australian Rally Championship at the wheel of his Celica, while brother Rick was chasing his 4th straight class win in the James Hardy 12-hour. The new Toyota MR2 Bathurst came to the mountain with more power, less weight, and a significantly improved handling package.
With just the standard car, left Bathurst in the same time as the race car did last year, so there's been huge improvements made in the car.
As well as the MR2 Bathurst, Toyota also entered a Celica for international driver Heather Bailey and Sydney-based Gwenda Searle. It was to be the world racing debut of the all-new Savage Celica. In just 4 years, the James Hardy 12-hour production car race has become a proving ground for manufacturers, highlighting what a near-standard showroom specification car can do on the most demanding race circuit in the country. The 12-hour this year attracted a full field of 55 cars, made up of 28 different models from 16 different manufacturers. It is this sort of competition and undeniably hard conditions which attract manufacturers to a race like the James Hardy 12-hour.
Motor racing for us does two things. It improves the breed and it also proves the breed. That is, for example, the MR2 Bathurst is a classic example of a car that's been developed for enthusiasts but which came about through motor racing. And the second area, proving the breed, another example is we've been testing the brakes here as part of the build-up for the race, and we've found that the brake pads haven't chamfered 1 millimetre, which to our team manager's astonishment is the first car he's ever seen do this. And that type of thing just proves that the engineering works.
Apart from a good car, teamwork is the most essential ingredient in success at a long-distance motor race. Toyota's two-car team had the expertise which has enabled it to dominate the sports car class in the 12-hour and win the Australian Rally Championship. Intense pre-race preparation was undertaken and pit stops were practiced over and over to ensure that on race day, nothing was left to chance. With a start in the cold pre-dawn at 5 a.m, the James Hardy 12-hour is unique in the world of motor racing. Toyota's team again trumped the opposition by rolling out Formula One style tyre warmers to put the Dunlop tyres at exactly the right temperature on the cold tarmac. Starting from 15th on the grid, Fangio began the race in the new MR2 Bathurst, chasing many much more powerful and expensive cars. From the works-backed Mazda RX-7s and Porsche 968s to the most powerful car in the race, the Maserati Shamal.
I think Fangio will have the job well in hand. We discussed it and decided it would be best for Fangio to start the race. He's had more experience in starting races than what I would have.
The dark and cold of Bathurst at 5 a.m. was broken with the roar of the 55-car field in a mad dash that would end 12 hours later. Despite the cold, racing temperatures were soon achieved, with brake discs glowing in the dark and 55 pairs of lights darting around the Mount Panorama circuit. Fangio was engaged in an intense struggle in the opening laps with another MR2, that of Toyota dealer John Smith and co-drivers Jason and Scott Barguana. Fangio soon got the upper hand as dawn started to break over the circuit. The crowded track and the high pace took its toll on the field.
Wow. Oh, and he's just about taken one of the Falcons with him, I think.
The all-new Toyota Celica GT4 Group A Rally, enlisted as pace car for the 12-hour race, was soon pressed into action when the track was blocked at the top of the mountain.
And as you can see, very nearly blocking the track.
Fangio had driven the MR2 Bathurst into the top 10 within 3 hours of the start, making time while others were pitting for new brakes and repairs.
Everything is really good and consistent.
In a 12-hour race, success is the result of reliability and consistency. The MR2 team and its sister Celica were proving to be both. The MR2 was consistently lapping at times under those recorded in qualifying and making places while those around it fell. Unfortunately for the new woman Celica, a broken drive shaft would see it retire at half distance. But the team has vowed to be back again in 1995.
Just looking across the top of the mountain, there's not much catches it. We seem to corner very well because obviously we're flat out across the top of the circuit. No problems at all. Traction fantastic, engine fantastic. We're just having a great time here.
The increased pace and intense speed took its toll on the field in the 1994 James Hardy. The leading Mazda of Mark Scaife was out at the 8-hour mark with a blown turbocharger, but still the Toyota MR2 Bathurst kept circulating.
The MR2, touch wood, so touch here somewhere, but it's been going extremely well all day and we expect it to keep going like that for the rest of the day.
The Toyota team had some special help in the pits when Shadow Minister Bronwyn Bishop stopped to lend a hand. With the race coming down to the last few hours, the MR2 was engaged in a David and Goliath fight with Peter Brock's Volvo Turbo. But the more powerful Volvo was soon back in the pits for a change of brakes and eventually a failed clutch, while the MR2 kept lapping the Mount Panorama track. With the Volvo out of contention, the MR2 was in 4th place outright. For wily team manager Ron Gillard, the closing stages are the most tense.
This is the most nervous part of the race. We've got just over 25 minutes to go.
and you've got everything crossed now that everything's okay. We've got a good buffer, which just all hangs together, we're right.
At 5 p.m, as the winner crossed the line, the Toyota team was ready to cheer its hero home. The MR2 had once more conquered the mountain and secured its place as one of the champions of the James Hardy 12-hour.
The car was really good, and the thing is, you can rely on the car. You can use the engine, you can use the gearbox, you can use the brakes, and everything will stay together. That's what really counts for a 12-hour race. Plus, I'm very lucky to be with a very experienced team, and also to be with Rick and Neil Bates. They are very good drivers and very nice person too.
One of the most remarkable feats of the MR2 Bathurst was the fact that it completed the race without a brake pad change, averaging 128.9 kilometres per hour for 12 hours and covering more than 249 laps or 1,546 kilometres around the Mount Panorama circuit. 6 laps more than their class-winning car in 1993.
The car ran faultlessly once again. We flogged it all day. We bettered our qualifying time in the race. It stood up to everything we took, and it was still doing, you know, qualifying type laps at the end of the race. But for our weight and speed of the car to finish 4th outright without the brake pad change, obviously the car has exceptional brakes for a production car.
Toyota once again showed the benefit of multi-valve twin-cam technology in a small and efficient package. MR2 Bathurst lived up to the reputation and the expectations of its name, with its best performance yet in the James Hardy 12-hour, taking not only 4th, but also 5th outright in a long, hard day of racing at the circuit which gave the car its name.